Good afternoon, all. Today, I would like to introduce Dr. Krishna Reddy, sir, who is a Board Certified Environmental Engineer at American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists, Diploma in Geotechnical Engineering at Academy of Geoprofessionals, American Society of Civil Engineers, and a fellow member in American Society of Civil Engineers. He has done PhD in Civil Engineering in the year 1990 in Illinois Institute of Technology and MS in Civil Engineering in Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, India, and BS in Civil Engineering in Osmania University, Hyderabad, India in 1983. He is also a board member for National Fly Ash Management and Utilization. Further coming to his research collaborations, he has 20 national and international collaborations all over the world. He has guided 22 PhD students, and under his guidance, 24 master's theses have been completed. Dr. Reddy, sir, has published 268 peer-reviewed national and international journals with total citations count of 16,089 to his critical date, and with a H index of 69 and ITN index of 250. He published 5 books in reputed international publishers and many more. Additionally, Dr. Reddy has a research expertise in broad areas of geo-environmental engineering, such as environmental remediation of soil. We have speaker Dr. Krishna.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. So, I know you guys have a lot of lectures and you have exams coming up. Your attention may be on those things. But having visitors like me, gives you ideas on what is out there. Especially, when I was an undergraduate student, I didn't have opportunity to listen to outsiders and coming and explaining a lot of different things. But now, webinars and live lectures and everything you have, if you can, get a really broader experience than just, learning what you are learning in a classroom. Is close to Medak. I can speak Telugu. So if you have any questions, you can ask me in Telugu or English. This is a unique thing. Generally, it doesn't happen when I go to different countries or different parts of India. So I'm very happy. One of the things that I cherish is to, interact with the students. I like to talk to the students and young faculty. Just, not only whatever I'm doing, but in general, whatever questions that you have, I can answer them. So today what I did is I just took one topic. I work on a lot of different things. So as I said, you can ask me any questions, at the end. So I'm from University of Illinois at Chicago. Chicago is well known, right? I hope everybody knows where Chicago is. Chicago is in the US. Chicago is famous for what? Anybody? Just say it. What do you know about Chicago? Yes. You know Swami Vivekananda?
Yes.
Where did he give a great speech? Chicago. So that's what. So you don't know basketball playing, but the world's greatest basketball player is Michael Jordan. He is in Chicago. But Swami Vivekananda, you know that. If you come there to Chicago, we still have some memorial stuff, to see where he gave the famous speech. So I'm from that place. So before I get started, I want to thank your institute, head of institute and conveners, and especially Dr. Reddy. I have known him for many years, and I also want to thank Professor Engineer and Puni. He has been doing great. I think he has been trying to do, educate a lot of, I wanted to show you pictures of Chicago. So I hope, you're going to come to Chicago sometime, or US. So this is a beautiful place. And this is, you can see the pictures. All the buildings, the rivers, river is actually rivers, and parks. So this is all created by civil engineers. So without civil engineers, you could not see any of these things. So be proud of, being civil engineer. And then of course, mechanical engineering, we have mechanical engineering students also there. But we have the bridges that, open up and close. So there are a lot of steel bridges. So it's a very, engineered structures. So the last two pictures are my university, like, bottom you see that. So I worked on a lot of different things. Like you, I started civil engineering, and my specialty was structural engineering. I was a gold medalist in Usmania. So I was getting bachelor's. Geotech professor called me into his office. He said, like, don't go into structures because it's saturated. You need to go into geotech because geotech is like every project is a different project. You cannot really have a standard solution. So I took this advice and went into geotech, and then I did my master's in geotech, and then I went to US. I did master's in PhD in geotech. But then you start working in industry, then you see different problems than what you have studied. So then you develop the interest in that one, and then you keep on working. So and you should not say that whatever you are studying now, you will be pursuing it. You're basically learning the skills of how to acquire the new knowledge. So then as going to the future, so you will be learning a lot of different things. So you never know. Keep all the options open, and you will become something. As long as you keep your options open and be proactive in learning new things. So I do a lot of different things than what I studied. So I do some geotechnical and environmental, called geoenvironmental. So these are all the real world problems. Basically, as an engineer, you want to solve the problems. So what are the problems out there? And then you want to come up with the solutions to the problems and change the quality of life of the people and maintain the quality of this planet. So that's the main thing. At the end of the day, it's not about getting a job and making money, but it's also doing the good for the people, good for the planet. So you need to be very happy. You get paid and do those kind of things that gives you a lot of pleasure. So there are a lot of things I do on sustainability and resiliency. This is the broad, it works in every different fields, and then my background is geotechnical engineering. So I do a lot of different projects. I can take one project and talk about a lot of technical details. I know that you're not going to like those kind of presentations. So what I did is I tried to make very general presentations to give you idea about some of the challenges that we have on the waste management. So I've been working for 25 years in the university. I do a lot of journal papers, conference papers. So a lot of information. If you want to get more information, you can go to the website and look at it. So these are all the students that I work with in the US. So in the US, in India, for example, if you're in IIT here, and then you have students only from IIT, from India, right? Whereas in the US, I get best students from all over the world. So that's why you see all the different diversity. You see the diversity. So the best students from all over the world come and study in the US. So these are all my students that I work with. It's very nice to work with this diverse group of students. For example, if you look at it, so one is Ghana, India, France, Turkey, all these different countries. I can list so many different countries where they come from. So it's very nice to go to the lab and talk to them. The best place to go. I go there and talk to them, so there are a lot of Indian students, as you see. I like taking Indian students. If you are interested in coming in the future, so just keep in touch with me. And as long as you are interested in learning, working hard, so nothing is possible. So everything is possible. So I'm like you guys. Maybe I come from a rural city also. I don't have I'm not from a rich family. I don't have in my family a lot of educated people. So I grew up very modest. So anything is possible. That's what I want to say. So this is if you are interested in studies, US is the best place to study. And this is my university. And we offer, just wanted to show this slide. So we offer MS and PhD in civil engineering, and we have MS in construction management and engineering, and we have MS and PhD in materials engineering. So we don't have, the MS in structural engineering, MS in geotechnical engineering. So if we basically have MS and PhD in civil engineering. So the focus areas that you can have, masters or PhD, are those areas that you see here. You can have structures, environmental, geotechnical, materials, water, transportation, and sustainability. These are the things. So you come on, join for masters, and then you can take courses. Our programs are very flexible. You take, you say you come, you say that my specialty is in structures. You can come with structures, you take some structures courses, but you can also take courses from other disciplines. So you get a broader grid. So I work on sustainability, I work on environmental, I work on geotechnical, I work on water, I work on material. So the students, from different disciplines, will be taking my classes. So, you can take a picture of this. This is the website, you can go there. There is information about application and admission requirements. As long as you have a good GPA and then you have a reasonable total score, admission is very easy to get. Okay? So just, this is the address that we get. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I could have taken a technical topic and go into a lot of technical details, and then you will get bored, So I just wanted to, talk about this general issue of the waste. So, this waste is a big problem in India. So, I think you can contribute quite a bit. So I just hopefully you can get an understanding of the magnitude of the problem, and then you try to pursue a career to make the difference or to solve these waste issues. So what is the waste, right? What is the waste? I mean, generally you have something useless, right? Something you want to throw away. So that's kind of a definition. There are different definitions that you can give. Waste is any unwanted or unusable material. Waste is any substance which is discarded after primary use or is worthless, defective, or of no use. A material is generating some kind of a waste, right? And we are generating large amounts of waste in this one. So if you have to deal with the subject, dealing with all these different waste is hard. So you need municipal solid waste and hazardous waste. These are the two terms that we. Then radioactive waste and infectious medical waste, they are treated completely different. So you have to, radioactivity is very important. So that waste is handled differently, and infectious waste, medical waste, blood, and all those things. That's treated differently. But all the other waste that you can think about, they come under solid waste. And solid waste can be municipal solid waste and hazardous waste. So just I want to focus on that solid waste issue. There is a definition for solid waste. Okay, you need to really kind of understand. Solid waste doesn't mean that it's solid, right? So it's in the physical sense. So a lot of people, what they're doing is, in the US is very advanced in terms of the environmental field. And this is the definition that United States Environmental Protection Agency has given on solid waste. So it's a long, but what I want to say is, solid waste doesn't mean that it's solid. In the physical sense, it could be liquid too. So this kind of a definition that confuses people. But this is the definition everybody all over the world that uses this one. So solid waste, as I said, we have two types. Municipal solid waste is something that you throw away in the houses. That's kind of a solid waste. Whatever commercial solid waste, institutional solid waste, all things. Basically, it's kind of a non-hazard. Okay, non-hazardous waste. It's a non-hazard. So it's all the regular garbage that you see all the time. This kind of residential. But this kind of waste comes from universities, institutions, and all those places. So that's the kind of the municipal solid waste. There's a term that you need to remember, MSW. So in this industry, that's the term that people use. The other one is hazardous. You throw away a lot of waste every day, right? So all that is going to get treated. And then you have commercial stores, restaurants, all that waste comes from there. And the institutions like the schools and all those things. Construction and demolition waste, municipal services. So you can think about waste coming from various. This is the one that can really cause a lot of health issues, right? So then, the question is, how do you define hazardous waste? So this is the technical thing that you need to know as a student. So one is bad, other one is not bad. So when you say that something is bad, so this is the definition that we use. Again, it comes from United States. Not all of these, could be any one of these. Okay? So not necessarily that it has to meet all the four characteristics. So one characteristic is going to have to call it as a hazardous waste. So that's how we define it. So the question is, how do you determine these characteristics? The guidance is available. I just want you to take a big picture. You don't have to ignitability is one thing. Then we look at the flash point, and then Based on that, we can see if it's ignited. Corrosivity, based on pH, you can look at it, whether it's a corrosive. And then you can reactivity. You can do some testing to see how reactive the material is. So this is kind of a standard guideline everybody follows all over the world. They follow it. And the toxicity is something called they call this testing method is called toxicity characteristic leaching procedure (TCLC). So this is the defined procedure. You take the material, mix with some solution and take out the solution, analyze it, what chemicals you have. And then these are the chemicals that we need to analyze. We need to analyze for all these chemicals, and these are the concentrations that are limiting numbers. So after you analyze that solution for any of these chemicals, if any of them are exceeding, then it is called toxic. Okay? So you have 4 of them, these are basically you need to measure the concentrations of all these chemicals and then see if concentration, these limits are exceeded. Even if one chemical exceeds the limit, then that becomes a hazardous waste. Okay? So the hazardous waste, can be anywhere. Even from your house, regular waste may be, non-hazardous waste, but you may be throwing bad waste, some other, detergents, all kinds of stuff like that. That could be hazardous. So the hazardous waste can come from many different sources. The only way to find, a lot of times you get the waste, you don't know where it came from, right? I mean, sometimes we have collection agencies, they collect the waste and they bring it to do the test, right? The testing is the score characteristics. And these are the characteristics that you test, and then if it has any characteristics, then it becomes hazardous waste. If it's a hazardous waste, if it's non-hazardous waste, you have less money to dispose of. The problem is, we are going to face a lot of problems going into the future. The number one reason for all the problems that we are going to have in the future is the population growth, right? So where population is exponentially increasing. It's going to double, triple into the future. So just think about how much you grow, right? And then multiply the number of people. Obviously, the quantity is going to be much higher. So these are the projections. So look at this one, 2016, 4.1. 2030, 2.59 billion tons per year, and 3.4 billion tons per year in 2050. Okay? So it's not like that's a long, fixed amount. Every year you have that much amount. If you don't do anything, this waste is getting accumulated and accumulated, problems are becoming worse and worse. And it's going to be a nightmare, maybe you won't see it, but the future generations will really feel it. I'm really concerned about what will happen going into the future. So of course, you have waste, industries, people, they just want to throw away from their, right? You have a garbage in your house, you want to throw away in the backyard, in the back, or on the sides, right? As long as it gets out of the house, that's fine, right? So, but people look at convenience. So in the US, we have the United States Environmental Protection Agency. They specify the requirements. If the industry is generating hazardous waste, they must follow certain rules. You generate the waste, you must follow certain rules, right? So, these are policemen. Nobody wants to do anything for the waste. They just want to get out of their house. But, these people are, kind of making whoever is producing the waste responsible for, taking care of it. So in the US we do that. In India, you have a Central Pollution Control Board, right? It's a central agency, and they have all the regulations. You should look into that one whenever you have a chance. Look at what is being done. You have a Central Pollution Control Board, and then at the state level, you have a State Pollution Control Board, Telangana Pollution Control Board also. So what are the requirements? What is government doing about environmental problems? If you want to know it, you go to those websites and find out. What I find is in the US, whatever we have in the regulations, we strictly follow that. In India, we have regulations written very well. I read them. So most of them are current-based from US, and they are there, but the enforcement is not there. So that's going to be a problem. One of the major problems that's going to happen in the future, this is going to be challenging for both civil engineers and mechanical engineers, is electronic waste, right? You all are familiar with it. Everybody has now at least 3 electronic gadgets with you. Now we are showing that people have more than 6 electronic gadgets. Every person has more than 6 electronic gadgets. So when you have those things, what will happen, right? So, a lot of times, you have new models, your whatever you have is outdated, you are changing it. So anything, electrical or electronic equipment that is outdated, unwanted or broken is called electronic waste. So when you think about all the electronic waste, these are all the things that you talk about electronic waste, right? So you have seen this one, in your case. Now, so when you talk about electronic waste, these are all the components, right? You have seen cell phones, right? Cell phones last only a few years. Some of them last, air conditioner, maybe some several years, right? So you have these different electronic equipment or electrical equipment that lasts for several years, and then after that you need to throw it. So what will happen when you throw it, right? That's the biggest problem. So like any other waste, the amount of electronic waste is increasing, right? Electronic waste is increasing. In 2019, 53.1 billion metric tons of the waste was there. And then projections show that it's going to increase further. It's not going to be the problem that's going to go away. It's going to become bigger and bigger. So if you are an engineer, if you are a civil engineering student or mechanical engineering student, you can take up the projects on how do we solve these kind of problems. You don't have to look at the whole problem, in a grand scale. Maybe take one type of electronic waste and then see how can you solve that kind of problem. The biggest producer of the e-waste is China, and then United States, and then India is the third one, right? So it's going to continue. India is going to produce a lot of this. In addition, there are estimated to be over 100 million old devices stored in the houses. I'm sure now there is some electronic equipment that you just put it aside, right? You don't throw away, but you get it. I'm sure a lot of people, in my house, I have work computers I didn't throw away. They're just sitting in my house. I don't know what I'm giving it for. But some of them don't. In the middle, you can see 80% is not collected for recycling, and then only 4% is being thrown in the waste. 76% is unused. Either it is dumped, or traded, or recycled, and then incinerated. So there is no track record of what happened to this. So in the US also, we create a lot of the e-waste. Only 15% is being recycled. All that stuff is lying around. So if you look at the composition of the general waste, e-waste amount is increasing. So it's going to be an important component in the waste that we have as we go into the future. So the main problem is some of the electronic equipment, for example, these are all considered hazardous. So if you have one of these things, that becomes a hazardous waste if you want to get rid of it. So even though the quantity of the electronic waste is less, but it's posing a lot of problems, in overall waste management issues because of a lot of parts and stuff. So the problem is that the new technology and the prices being reasonable, people are just getting rid of their old stuff. From an environmental point of view, is that e-waste, all the electronic things that you have, they have toxic chemicals in them, right? Such as mercury, lead, nickel, cadmium, beryllium, and it's bromelated flame retardants. Those all are going to come out if you don't, discard them properly, right? So there's going to be a problem with that. And also, a lot of recycling can be done. So a lot of mechanical engineers are involved in, taking some of this, old electronic equipment and recovering some of the stuff and making marketable products of it. So if you don't recover some stuff, what do you do? Rest of the stuff. So you dump them. So you can landfill it or open dumping or incineration. And when you do those things, you're going to cause the problem of soil pollution, groundwater pollution, and air pollution. Right? So that's going to be causing a lot of health problems to the humans. Right? So some people you probably heard about people having diseases. There is no explanation why they got these diseases. A lot of them are attributed to the environmental factors. So the other problem that we have is almost 50 to 80% of the e-waste from US and other developed countries is shipped to different countries. China, India, African countries. This is considered really, not social justice, because, the waste is being shipped to some other place. Because in the US, we cannot spend a lot of money for the labor and try to recycle. We're not going to be economically viable. So they are putting in big ships all the whole electronic waste, and they're shipping to China, India, and these different countries, Pakistan, Taiwan, and African countries. And there the labor is cheap, and they are basically, you can see some lot of videos on like how people just break the electronic equipment and try to recover some of the stuff from there. And it's a dangerous operation. You can see a lot of videos on how their hands, there's going to be acid, there's going to be a lot of different things that these people are being exposed to and have big problem. So these workers are having a lot of problems, and in the process, all the chemicals are being exposed to soils and groundwater and air. So these workers are getting affected. So in this way, a lot of chemicals are involved in these electronic waste. There's a list, you cannot see it, but the chemicals and all the chemicals have a really huge health effects. So this, the first one is the chemical, second one is the electronic equipment, and the third one is the health effects. So you can see all these electronics have effects on the human and also on the plants and the environment that you see this problem. And then you can also look at on a larger scale, these causes a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, and also non-renewable resources. For example, each cell phone that you have, it has a lot of this non-renewable, the metal. Okay, so if you use up those non-renewable resources, going into the future, we're not going to have those resources to make new cell phones, right? So if you grow the electronic equipment with all those resources, then in the future we're going to be having shortage of those things. So it's a recycling is continue, e-waste. So you need to think about buying grade. So next time when you buy any electronic equipment, just ask yourself, is it environmentally friendly? Right? So that's one way. And reduce the generation of the e-waste and reuse still functioning electronic equipment, or you donate it to somebody. Okay? Repair if there is something is not working. It's very easy, I know in India to repair, but in the US it costs more to repair than buying a new one. Recycle, and then avoid disposal of the regular waste. Don't ever throw your electronic stuff. Lot of environmental rules that we follow. Okay, California, for example, the Electronic Waste Recycling Act, and what it does is these regulations, because they are making producers to be responsible for taking the product at the end of their life. Okay, so you can look at it. So the manufacturer responsibility. They need to keep consumer information, brand labels, and so a lot of burden is now placed on manufacturers so that they can take back or design them to be environmentally friendly. These electronic companies are under a lot of pressure. And in Illinois, that's the state that I come from, we have also law. So different states have different laws. So the law controls, these are the stuff covered electronic devices, we cannot put them in the garbage. If you put them, you are violating the law, and you can be punished. So you have to, take this one to some collection centers and give it to them, and then manufacturers are responsible for handling. So there are a lot of things going on in this. I just took these pictures from the Pollution Control Board. They have guidelines on e-waste. So you can, for example, if you are doing a project, for example, e-waste in India, best thing is to go and get this document and see what the Central Pollution Control Board is doing. On the right side is the Telangana Pollution Control Board. So they have a guidelines on what can be done. They are there in the paper. I don't know how much of it is being followed. That's a different question, right? So if you have a one computer, if you want to get rid of it, they are governed by these regulations. But I don't know how many people are following this. So there are a lot of videos that you can look at it. It's really, when you watch these videos, you become really, sad on how the recycling waste is dumped on some people in some countries, and then if you're an engineer, you're a civil engineer or mechanical engineer, your challenge is to determine what these things have, okay? And one of the main important things is not the bulk-based composition, but leachate composition. That's the important thing. How much, when it rains, right? Let's say you throw away your electronic stuff. When it rains, what kind of chemicals that are going to come out of that e-waste, electronic waste? So these are kind of a composition of the way leachate from different waste. But from electronic waste, you see these things will come out. So people, they went to the site where the electronic waste has been dumped. Unfortunately, in India, nothing is happening, to solve these dump problems. So, and then, in the US, we used to have these dump sites. What we did is we, capped them. We capped them nicely so that gases are collected, and we have taken measures to collect the leachate. So these are all, road dump sites. Look at how beautiful they look like. They are all converted into parks. And so in US, we don't have dump sites, we have engineered landfills. Basically, we excavate down the ground, we put the liner systems, leachate collection systems, and everything. We dump the waste, and then we close it. We have gas collection system, leachate collection system. And I teach a course on landfill design. All the students in our department get the idea on how to design a landfill. So these things are there. And the construction is very standard. You don't need to have a specialty contractor. There are a lot of people who can construct the landfill lines and leachate collection system. So you have to go up the field and look at it. It's clean. You don't smell anything. It's like going to any construction site. Here, there's no measures. I went to one of the sites. It's horrible. So I think once everything is filled up, we put a cover on it and convert it to a nice recreational park. This is converted into a golf course, which people will come, pay the money to play the golf. So now you don't see that site is being used. The waste is down there, and then it is managed properly, and then the land is being used fine. So there are a lot of possibilities, but in India, the things are not being done. Even though the technology is out there in other countries. I don't understand what is the reason. People say that India is not short of money. The money is there. Money is not a problem, but it's just a matter of bringing people together who can really take each other's ideas and then implement a comprehensive solution to the problem. So I just want to mention that waste is a big issue as we go into the future. So all of you, when you finish your graduation, look for jobs in Central Pollution Control Board or Telangana Pollution Control Board, or work for environmental agencies, environmental companies, non-governmental offices. There are a lot of job opportunities where you can actually join these places and then you make a difference. In terms of the electronic waste, as you are a mechanical engineer, there could be processes by which you can recover the valuable resources, and then we could open up your own company to do that thing, and then make it more profitable business. So the waste, we need to follow this sustainable integrated waste management approach, and then I said that we must avoid cleaning downs. So hopefully this young generation can act aggressively and positively to address this problem. So these cannot be allowed. The other important thing is education, communication, and enforcement. These are the things I think are important in Indian context. So we need to educate everybody on the issues of this communication. We need to be able to communicate each other, take each other's ideas, and then enforcement. As I said, we have the regulations, but nobody follows those regulations. And then, for example, maybe all those universities that now they are making net zero waste campuses. So you can just instead of preaching your students, you should reduce the waste, do other things. Maybe you make a goal of your campus being zero waste campus. So try to kind of follow those. What are the options that we can have to recycle, reuse, and at the end you don't have any waste that needs to be disposed. So by doing that one, you're not only teaching the students the importance of this waste management, but also you're showing it in practice of the work that you have. So that's, there's a term called circular economy. It's not about the dollars or rupees. It's basically, taking the materials from nature and reusing it, never disposing it out. So that's called circular economy. You should know that. So that's, kind of a brief overview of this waste issues, and hopefully you learned something. As I said, I didn't want to make, too detailed technical talk on any of my research projects, so I just wanted to give you an overview of this waste problem. It's a real problem, and that needs to be addressed, right, for your own benefit, future generation benefit, and to protect the planet, right? So this is my contact information, and you can feel free to send me, email later on if you have any questions. I'll be happy to interact and answer your questions. Okay? Thank you very much. I can answer any questions you have on top or in general for anything. If you have any questions. Anybody has any questions? Come on. Don't be scared. Okay, here is one question. Here's one question for you. Keep going. You can ask me any question.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Yeah.
so personally, what do you think India has to take step forward to change, like to come up with new managing system about e-waste and solid waste?
So what, as I said, how do we make it happen in the practice? That's the biggest thing, right? So in terms of the options are there, as I said, mentioned, it is not like a new topic that nobody has any solution to the problem. So you can look at US, you can look at other countries where they have these problems, and then now they are able to manage it, right? So depending upon the situation, in the US we have landfills, in Europe we have a lot of incinerators or waste energy plants. So you can learn the lessons from them and do it together. The problem, and as I understand, India has no problem with the money. The biggest problem is that, people are walking in different directions. As I mentioned, you need to integrate all of them together. Somebody says that, okay, waste energy plant is the best, you can burn the waste and you can, but that's not going to happen, because some of the waste, to burn it, it has to be in a certain form to burn. It has to have organics, it has to have less moisture content. A lot of waste that we have, it cannot be burned easily. So that's the biggest problem. Even if you burn it, you're going to create the ash that needs to be disposed somewhere. So that's the biggest problem. Some people are pushing and getting a lot of money from government and putting these plants, crores of money is being spent to build these plants, and they don't even run for 1 day or 2 days. There are cases where they spend money and they are not being approached. So the other thing is, some people say that you can go and spray some magic solution and then waste is going to disappear. So I don't know how it could happen. So this biomining or whatever they call it, it's not possible to degrade the waste easily. There are some certain organic waste that can degrade fast, but some organic waste that does not degrade easily. So it's going to take time. So some people are pushing that kind of thing. So this is what I'm trying to say is that there's no different people are not sitting together discussing. The only solution to the problem is the integrated approach. So you need to do a little bit of all the things and to solve the problem. So people are pushing one solution and fail. Other people are pushing another solution, not fail. But you can imagine, some common sense, you should think about it, Delhi, right? Delhi, you have a big piles of land, dumps. You hear in the news that it's burning and all those things. Think about how that problem is going to be solved. In the news, I said, government is going to clean up the whole area in 3 months. How can it happen in 3 months when you have you're processing the waste, mining, you're taking out 2,000 tons every day. You're taking out 2,000 tons. But you're bringing 3,000 tons of fresh waste to the landfill. How can you clear up in 3 months? Only 2,000 tons you are clearing, taking it out, and you're whatever, dispersing wherever you are. But 3,000 tons of extra waste, new waste is coming from the houses. How can you clear up in 3 months? How can you clear up in 1 year? How can you clear up in 5 years? How can you clear up in 10 years? The mass balance, right? You learn about mass balance. So it doesn't, it's still, you're adding more waste and taking it out. How is it going to be a problem? So I don't know. I mean, I cannot just think about what is going on. This upsets me. So that's why the solution to the problem is, all of them getting together and realizing the fact that integrated approach is the option, and that needs to be implemented. Good afternoon.
Sir, e-waste dump చేస్తాం అన్నారు సార్. దాని ఎఫెక్ట్ ఫ్యూచర్ లో ఏముండదు.
Yeah, e-waste dump, it's a problem, right? So the dump, the problem with dumping is that when it rains, if you don't properly contain it, you have to actually put it in like a liner systems and everything. If you dump like the other ways that you are doing it, so when it, water goes to this material, they're going to leach it. I told you leach it, Leach it is when you have electronic equipment is there, and then all the things go through the inside, and then some of the chemicals come out, and then all that water containing all the chemicals will be all over in your neighborhoods, in surface water, in groundwater. Ultimately, you are going to consume it. And when you consume it, you're going to get diseases. So it's a problem. So even if you have to dump it, we have to have an engineered landfills. Engineered landfills, you need to have a liner system, cover system. The leachate has to be collected and treated. So if you can have an engineered landfill, you can dump it. But dumping is the last choice, because electronic waste has lot of these resources. Some gold is there. There is a statistic saying that it's much cheaper to recover the gold from this electronic waste than mining from the mine side. So you can actually create a lot of market. So you need to try to recycle as much as you can. That's where you need all these innovative mechanical processes. How you recover different components from electronic waste. You need to have a different process, because all this different, copper, lead, barium, PPDs, so they have immediate different processes, and metals, you need to separate them. So you need to have a sequential process to separate them. So idea is to recover as much as you can, and if you cannot recover anymore, you put that one in the engineering end.
Thank you.
Ask me any questions, not necessarily on the topic, but anything else.
Don't hesitate.
Anything else? Okay, good. You can talk in Telugu also, in case you have doubt. Right.
As you said, the electronic waste generated by US and other developed countries has been shipped or dumped here in India. Then why does the government of India allow them to do it or accept it?
Yeah, that's the problem. There are less, legal requirements to stop that. They're exploiting that. Right now, there is no law that says you cannot bring it. Right? So the government has to bring a new law where it says, we're not going to allow this importing this e-waste. So that has to be, each country has to come up with that one, then you cannot send the waste there, right? And then also, the companies, the recycling companies, they are, actually wanting that kind of waste from US. So let's say you have a company in India, they have all the laborers, they can recover, let's say, copper, from this electronic waste. They have some business. So then they want these truckloads of material and then they bring it and then recover whatever they want. So there's a business, some businesses they want it, and then you don't have any legal requirements not to get it. So now they realize now, the problem is realized now. Now some countries are not allowing it. So some countries are not allowing it, but Africa and other, they are very poor countries. They, some videos as I mentioned, some people live off of this, they recycle, they recover some, little bit of copper and then they sell it and that's their livelihood per day. But they have a lot of environmental issues. So it's the countries are now realizing that even just not only electronic waste, even some other waste materials, they come to different countries. Now they stopped it. And if they stop it, then US has to rethink what they have to do it. Because easy way is to ship it out, but then we have to do all this what we have to do it. Because it's going to cost a lot of money to put the labor and do all those things. So then the product cost is going to be really high. So but if there is no option, they will do that one, right? If the easy option is to send it to different country, then just get rid of the problem from from your country and then let other countries deal with it. But if they cannot do it, then they will figure out how to do it. That's a good question.
सर जैसे कि आपने हमारा डेवलपमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलेट कंट्री है, यहाँ पे जनसंख्या बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो इस रुझान में गवर्नमेंट ई वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट का बेहतर ये है ई वेस्ट जो हमारे यहाँ पे जितना सेलफोन हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं जिस हमारे पॉपुलेशन के रेशो में है, तो हम हर साल बाहर की कंपनी हमारे पॉपुलेशन को देख के बहुत सारे वैरायटीज ऑफ सेलफोन यहाँ पे एक्सपोर्ट कर लेते हैं, तो उनका तो मार्केट चलता है और हमारे यहाँ पे जो है सेलफोन की संख्या है या ई वेस्ट की संख्या है वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है। तो गवर्नमेंट को भी ऐसा कोई इकदाम लेना नहीं चाहिए जिससे बाहर से जो मटेरियल से ई वेस्ट है उसका सोर्स ही कम हो जाए और जो पब्लिक यहाँ पे ई वेस्ट को डायरेक्ट सेलफोन से रिप्लेस किए बगैर वहाँ पे जो भी इम्प्रूवमेंट्स करके लाते हैं कंपनी उसको डायरेक्टली जो इम्प्रूवमेंट्स करने की जरूरत है वो डायरेक्टली जो पुराने फोन है उसमें डालने का प्रयास की जाए तो जो वेस्टेज है वो बहुत ज़्यादा कम हो सकता है।
I understand Hindi very well because I studied in Roorkee, right? I used to speak very fluent Hindi when I was in Roorkee, but I forgot, but I understand fully what you said. Yeah, that's true. I mean, basically it's economy, right? So, just look at yourself. The technology is being advanced. Technology, your new phone, the new model is better than your old phone. So, and then it doesn't cost that much. So what is your benefit? Okay, I can afford that one. And then you just put your phone somewhere and in the house and then you buy that one. So, so that's one. Technology is advancing, that's one thing. And the cost, the economy is also, allowing people to buy it. So that's one reason. But now, you incorporate the environmental costs or recovery costs or recycling costs, in the cost of the product, then it will be very expensive, right? So then, people will, hesitate to buy it if it is very expensive. So they will try to stretch it as much as possible. So it's just the economics and the technology advances that is really making people to, generate a lot of economy. I agree with you. Maybe down the road, there should be some government laws not import all this, the fancy phones and because of population. So all of a sudden, the new model, Samsung new model comes. So many people are buying the new ones and all the old ones they have to be discarded. So maybe there should be some. That's why now a lot of emphasis is on companies. The companies should take back the old phones, and they should, in their manufacturing, they should recover whatever you want to do. You do it. You produce the product. It is not that good to dispose it of, in the environment. you take it and you recover, do whatever you want. Called, extended producer responsibility. So, and now the companies are, with a lot of regulations in this side, the companies have to come up with a way to handle all this. So if they give you a new phone, they should take your old phone. They need to handle it properly. So there are a lot of things going on like that. Yeah, there could be a lot of things coming in the future. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you so much. Any other questions? How many of you are interested in pursuing masters in US? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Very good. So just as I said, GPA is important. Make sure your teachers are happy and you get good grades. That's the number one thing. And then you all speak English, so you need to get the total score, get that one, and you can apply. So if you have any questions on admission for MS, it's very easy to get admission in the US. Okay? Just the financial aid is the difficult part. Get admission doesn't mean that you get extension. For some places you can get extension. Alright? Keep options open. Alright, anybody else have any questions? Alright, so if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for your patient listening, and good luck with everything that you are doing, okay?
Thank you, sir. For a nice technical session. So, sir, in IARE here also in our college, we do have that few projects like making some plastic blocks. So, one of our faculty, he himself tried to make some use of plastic. But as you said, challenges to deal with it is a bigger problem. Like the fumes that are coming when we are burning it again, the fumes that are coming out of it is the biggest challenge. And few other students are now planning to make some sustainable bricks, like making some bricks with fly ash, cement and lime, something like that. And they are like planning to make some artificial aggregates. So it is also in place. So these kind of studies, like still we are making that to reach the students, and they are also giving their ideas so that we can implement and try to do some kind of innovation on that. So we are also putting our sincere efforts, like that we also, few of our students also had been using plastic shreds, like in terms of flakes or in terms of granules. So by replacing some part of aggregates in the cement. So these kind of applications are there, but on a large scale applying, so that is a major problem as far as my knowledge is concerned. Implementation of the problem, whatever the waste that we can use, like e-waste. E-waste is the largest source of. So many people are making money on that. Like solid waste, most of the startups have been now started. So people are even going to homes and collecting the e-waste, like that you have highlighted. Few companies are there sitting at your home. So like that, there are some startups where they are collecting that and they are recycling into the uniform plastic and they are separating and they are making money out of it. So these kind of things are still going on, but the usage of this waste has to be improved. Yes, sir. Yes. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your technical talk. So we will now conclude the session.
Today's chief guest and the eminent speakers, Dr. Krishna Reddy, happens to be giving introduction to everything that we do from the we felt that both mechanical and civil should take part in electing exactly the waste management has become a challenge across the board, and mechanical students particularly they will be coming out with the inner development of the machines pertaining to crushing and doing these electrical waste and the e-waste. But definitely new thoughts and innovations are being designed and developed from the mechanical. So that is what type of waste that will be emerging from the across the globe, a suitable machines have to be designed. So to get good ideas or for the young minds to come up with new ideas of machines. That is the reason the mechanical is also being brought here to get the new ideas. Okay? So thanks for giving me an opportunity to put my views forward for the students to understand.
Dr. Dundigal. So now I request Reddy sir to present the total sufficient to the engineering and assistant
Beyond rural plastic emission. And we all are working towards reduction of plastic. And even India is bringing many acts towards the reduction of plastic. And as well as that, India is importing plastic. It's not that imports plastic. So India's the third largest country which imports bulks of plastic. And still India says that plastic reduction should happen. So would you like to challenge our youngest generation?
I think that's manufacturing. We need to go with sustainable materials, sustainable manufacturing. So any materials that are environmentally unfriendly, so they need to be substituted with environmentally friendly, sustainable solutions. Now, what is happening is, so far we have been doing things thinking that our resources are infinite and we didn't really care about the environmental impact. But now, there's a new emerging field is called sustainable and resilient engineering. So in that one, I teach a course on sustainable engineering in which we do assessment, evaluate alternative materials. And then, so the plastic, they come out, the impacts of use of plastic will come out in that kind of assessment. Now we don't do the assessments, but when we do the sustainability assessment, life cycle assessment for environmental impact, economic assessment, social sustainability assessment, then you will bring up all those issues, and then you think about innovative materials. There is a lot of scope for innovative materials. And then now what is going on is, to supplement use of plastics or any other environmentally unfriendly materials, nature-based solutions are becoming raw. Nature-based materials, renewable materials. So there's a huge shift in thinking how engineering is being done. So engineering with nature has become a very important concept in the US right now. So that will avoid all the problems that we have been having with the need for all these materials, which are not sustainable. But then it's going to take some time, right? I mean, you cannot really do it overnight. But, especially, going into the future, we should be looking at sustainability as one of the major factors, right? So that will really, change your thinking drastically. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Waste is not a waste until we waste it. Our country is our identity, keep it clean. With these beautiful words, we are at the end of this wonderful session. I'm extremely thankful to humble guests of honor, Dr. Krishna Reddy and Narasimha. Your presence has honored and enlightened us with incredible knowledge and wisdom.
We are truly graced by the informative and educative session, sir, and we are looking forward to work with ASCC students as well. So I'm thankful to the head of Institute, Dr. Reddy Prasad, and the Civil Engineering Association, along with all the civil engineering faculty, for organizing this summit. We are thankful to our conveners, especially Dr. V. Reddy and Dr. V.V.S. Prasad. To our dear faculty coordinators, Mr. K. Dundigal, Dr. M. Venu, Mr. G. Praveen Kumar, Mr. Tarun Kumar, and Mr. Madhusudan Reddy, for the smooth conduction of this seminar. Shaukat, would you like to share anything to us?
My dear friends, नहीं तेरा नशीबन तस्वीर सुल्तानी की उम्मत पर, नहीं तेरा नशीबन तस्वीर सुल्तानी की उम्मत पर, खुशहाली में बसेरा कर पहाड़ों के चट्टानों पर, खुशहाली में बसेरा कर पहाड़ों के चट्टानों पर। पुकारू वो करवा, पुकारू वो जब बेदार होती है जवानों में, पुकारू वो जब बेदार होती है जवानों में, नजर आती है उनको अपनी मंजिल आसमानों में, नजर आती है उनको अपनी मंजिल आसमानों में। My dear friend, the motto of education is not only to pass information to each other, but the meaning and the motto of education is to eradicate the darkness from our soul and enlighten with information, knowledge, enthusiasm, energy, and it must have character making, man-making, and life-building solution of ideas in order to live a life of simple and meaningful life.
Indeed, Shaukat, our today's session is totally based on that, and we are extremely thankful to our wonderful guests, Mr. Madhusudan and Krishna Reddy, for paving the way for the younger generation towards an innovation. See you knowledge from Reddy. Thank you, sir.
All the students can leave except the AACC registered. Students please came registered for AACC.
Hey, Ramesh.
The AC students, yeah. Everyone, all students join.
అన్నాడు జాయిన్ అవుతుందా వీడియో ఆన్ చేసి పెట్టు అది మనం ఫోన్ ఏమడితే అయిపోలేదు అవుతా చూడరా నువ్వు చెప్పు అయ్యి వచ్చారా మేము కూడా అవుతాం
I'm also, right? నేను కూడా మెంబర్
Come guys, come please. You guys can stand with the knees down. Yes. Got it?
శ్రీరామ్
Masters, you have to make structures. MTech in structures. So should do PhDs. You have to be like, first of all, you have to be strongly interested and you have to apply. So basically for PhD you need good GPA and GRE score.
These people were behind the scenes. So keep the
Yeah, thank you.
Shaukat Ali.
Yeah. So you should be active in ASCE. ASCE student chapter membership is like free, right? Zero. And then you can get a lot of information from ASCE. In US, all our students are ASCE members. They have their own activities and everything. And the companies have studied there as well. In the companies, unless they see in the resume member of ASCE student chapter, they will not take it. Because they want to see the students, working in groups and interacting with professionals and other things. So they're very big, very picky. So, you like people. AC, if you say AC student chapter, then everybody in the US, like PhD in the US, it's one of the. I'm in IIT Madras right now. I'm a professor and adjunct professor in IIT Madras. So I stayed there for 2 months now. To support a student, PhD student every year. Right? So if I have 5 projects, that means I will have 5 students. So that means I'm doing really great in the US if I have 5 students. In IITs, I see one professor has 16 students. 16 PhD students. He doesn't pay a single penny. 16 PhD students, how he is going to advise, I don't know. So, and then like every professor has like at least 5 master students, 5 PhD students minimum. They don't get paid, they don't pay anything. So that way, here it's good. But then, they are all doing some easy stuff, right? There's a lot of computer modeling. It does not require any money to, develop the experimental setup, to do experiments. All experiments cost a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort. I see a lot of IIT. We don't have a software, but they have it here. All the packages. So then I was in this PhD candidate interviews. Online, there were 85 students applied with the masters. They want to come for IIT Madras for PhD. So all of them, these are all COVID, right? And they said, sir, we wanted to do experiments, but we could not go to the labs. So we changed the project to modeling. Everybody did Praxis 3D. 80% of them Praxis 3D. And then there's one professor, he's a very vocal. Why did you use 3D? Why did you use 2D? What is the reason why you use 3D? Software. Software is there, but why did you use 3D? Simple is 2D, right? You do the 2D first, and then they nail, then you do the 3D. Why did you do 3D? No answer. Yeah, the Praxis 3D, they don't know, they may be doing Praxis 3D software, but maybe they're simulating 2D, right? They could do that. So we have a lot of students, but they have to be under a lot of pressure. Here, 5 years guaranteed funding, do slowly. Right? And then PM, what is it? PM, PhD scholarship is even good, 80,000 rupees, plus a lot of scholarships, and they are happy. They don't want to graduate. Then they finish graduation, they will not get a job. That basically.
From the next academic year onwards, UGC changing their, they're giving the PhD admission for with the uni only. If the student maintains.
We have the same thing. The US we can get undergraduate students now get directly into the PhD program, but they have to do the coursework. They're not going to,
Initial 1 year.
the PhD student shares it.
And after that, it will be converted. Those courses into the PhD.
The PhD, when they join PhD, integrated MS